Over the weekend, more and more anonymous behind the scenes accounts have come out of Republicans saying that Matt Gaetz is probably not going to survive the number of different scandals that are now engulfing him. The sex trafficking, the use of campaign funds, and then all the sleazy behavior like showing off, apparently without any consent, nude photos of women he'd been with or whatever. What's interesting though is that with all of this going on and this scandal now reaching almost a full week, you know who hasn't spoken out in defense of Matt Gaetz? The guy that Matt Gaetz was more loyal to than perhaps anyone in the country. Donald Trump. According to two people familiar with the matter, Trump has been closely monitoring the scandal. The ex-president has casually quizzed several confidants about what they think of the situation, if there's anything he should do about it. Multiple people close to Trump have flatly advised him to stay out of it. Refrain from publicly defending Gaetz, they're telling him, at least for the time being. And two different sources say that in all of the conversations they're aware of, Trump has appeared to ultimately agree with the recommendations to keep quiet. One of the sources added that the former president has lamented that the whole thing seems really bad for Gaetz, while also mentioning that the allegations could be a smear against the Trump uber loyalists. So look, you can have as many sources as you want saying he seems to be accepting the advice. We don't need those sources. It's been almost a week and he hasn't said anything. So by his lack of behavior, he seems to agree with that philosophy. And whether he thinks it's really bad or a smear, which in modern American politics just means an inconvenient thing about you. It's a way of just taking a criticism and saying it's not fair to make it. I don't know. But anyway, Matt Gaetz has lived on Fox News for years defending Trump against every possible scandal, every bit of criticism. And now Matt Gaetz is in the lowest point of his very low life, his darkest moment. And Trump is not repaying his loyalty, not one bit, not in any way that anyone publicly can see. He is just leaving him out there. Thoughts, Francesca? Do you think it's gonna change?
I love it. I love it.
You love it?
I'm just so happy. I hate that guy. Yeah, it's almost like when it comes to Trump and loyalism, it's a one-way street. You know, it's almost
like that.
Weird how he just wants everything to come his way, but he's incapable of, any kind of love or empathy when it comes the other way. Yeah. There is nothing in this for Trump defending Gaetz. If he were still in the White House, of course, why not? You run the table, it's fine. There's nothing. Look, Tucker Carlson's not coming out to defend him. He wants nothing to do with it. Trump doesn't want to talk to him. Who knows if Gaetz is gonna be like, you remember we took that one selfie with that one girl and Nobody wants to touch Gaetz. And this is like, former groper in chief. This is Donald Trump. How many dozens of sexual assault allegations are we running on here? One currently making its way through the courts right now.
Totally.
And I think it speaks to, look, I have thoughts on what's actually gonna happen to Gaetz. I don't see him resigning. I see him potentially even winning re-election if unchallenged. But because I think the only place he's still employable is Congress. Think about it. No one else is gonna employ him except for the voters that he's been duping for years.
What about his dad's car wash or his auto dealership or whatever? He could probably get a job there. I mean, I don't know why you would resign as a Republican. Your voters don't care. They don't care about any of this stuff. A lot of them are just jealous. They wish they could be doing it. And by the way, thank you to Lucid Fox for the raid and for everyone joining us. We're breaking down Matt Gaetz being thrown under the bus by Trump, despite all of his years of loyalty. And Francesca, you pointed out that there's supposed to be honor among thieves in this case, honor among sexual assaulters. So Donald Trump got defended by Matt Gaetz for his many, many sexual assaults, and he's not repaying it. Meanwhile, there is a bit of it. Some of the only people in Congress that have actually spoken out on the record in defense of Matt Gaetz have faced their own stories like this. We have two House Republicans, Judiciary Ranking Republican Jim Jordan, who has himself faced allegations that he ignored serial sexual assault. It's not really a sex scandal, it's an I'm looking the other way as dozens of kids are raped scandal, but you get what I'm saying. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, look, I understand that as part of her deal with Satan, she has to be on the wrong side of literally every issue. And she herself has her own stories that you can Google. It's not a scandal that should matter politically, but it's interesting if nothing else. So they have stood by Matt Gaetz to their credit, but few others are. And it's partially, I think, because everybody hates Matt Gaetz. That's a TV show coming to NBC soon. They really do all hate him, and it looks really bad. And so who wants to leap to the defense of a person who might be facing calls, whether he will resign or not? He might be facing calls to resign fairly soon.
Yeah, I think it is also a win for Republicans like Liz Cheney, who Matt Gaetz has been trying to accuse of being Biden loyalists because they didn't vote against verifying an election, and thought the Capitol insurrection was wrong, right? Matt Gaetz was leading this charge. He was like, yeah, it's all about MAGA. We're going forward. Woo, woo, and there's been a rift in the Republican Party. And so, for as inconsequential in terms of if he will resign or not, or if he's reelected, I do think it takes him down a few pegs and a few important pegs if you want a Republican Party that is minimally less nuts. Which I think we all do, even though I believe it's a slippery slope into, crazy. I would prefer them to not want to overturn Democratic elections.
Yeah, that's true. No, it's arguably a good thing if he's sort of sidelined. It clears out a little bit more of the path for Tucker Carlson to become the nominee.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.